Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You're listening to episode number 135, number 135. I'm Victoria Gallagher, Law of Attraction hypnotist and number one best-selling author of Practical Law of Attraction, Align Yourself with the Manifesting Conditions and Successfully Attract Your Desires. I'm also the founder of HipTalk.com and HypnoCloud apps, which gives you access to over 500 hypnosis downloads right in the palm of your hand. So be sure to download that app from the app stores. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Pragito Dove. Dove, MA, is a global authority on expressive meditation and founder of the number one expressive meditation training school in North America. An internationally recognized author, hypnotherapist, coach, and speaker with over 20 years experience, Pragito helps entrepreneurs, leaders, and CEOs align their mindset to allow more peace, time, and financial freedom. She shows you how to change your money blueprint, recondition your mind for automatic abundance, and use spiritual laws to create real world success. Pragito has shared the stage with such luminaries as John Gray, author of Mars Venus, number one bestseller, Panache Desai, and Miten, who is known for singing mantras. And her book is a number one Amazon bestseller, Lunchtime, Enlightenment, Expressive Meditations for Manifesting Peace, Prosperity, and Passion. That was published in August 2020. Today, Pragito is going to be sharing some of her insights on wisdom for business and personal success. So, welcome to the show, Pragito.
Thank you so much, Victoria. That was a great introduction.
Thank you. Well, you deserve such a great introduction. You have definitely had a lot of success, and congratulations on your new book. It sounds really, really cool. And so I'd love to dig in and find out a little bit more about that.
Well, we can certainly do that. I have it right here. Here it is.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Well, so let's just dig right in. So how did you're very similar to me, been a hypnotherapist for the last 20 years, and
Yes.
you've been helping entrepreneurs with their mindset, and you wrote a book about law of attraction. So we've been following a very similar path. So I be really interested to find out just how you got started on this path, and then we'll kind of get into the talk about your take on law of attraction and your how your techniques help people. So yeah, how did you get started in this?
Okay. Well, I got started in this because I was born into a mindset of fear, lack, and scarcity. So, what I learned from my parents and the culture I was raised in was there isn't enough. There isn't enough love. There isn't enough money. One of my mother's favorite phrases was, "We have to tighten our belts, and we can't afford it," and all these kind of things. Although it was a little bit confusing to me because we were basically, I'd say, middle class. We weren't poor and we weren't rich. But the other thing that I was blueprinted with was that you do not aspire to be somebody that you're not, i.e., don't aspire to be wealthy. And also, you don't want to hang out with poor people. What you do is you stay in your box, in the middle. So that's how I was programmed around money and wealth and abundance. And it took me quite a long time to realize that my mother was the one who was pretty paranoid and always talking about we don't have enough money. But it took me quite a few years to realize that actually we did have money, you know. So I had to sort of start separating myself away from her, all her fear based thinking. And I remember I reached a point where I actually got really, really angry because I was so sick of keep going into credit card debt. It was like I was going around in this circle. I'd pay it off, and then it'd be back in debt again, and I'd pay it off and back in debt again. And I did actually file bankruptcy at one point. I think that was about 20 years ago. And so I think my anger was a good thing because it was motivating me, because I would look around and think, okay, other people have money. Why can't I? Why do I keep going around in this circle? And then I decided to study with a multimillionaire. I studied with a multimillionaire, and I also studied with a law of attraction expert. And because I thought, okay, let me study with somebody who's where I want to be, meaning the
Yeah.
multimillionaire.
Yes.
That was a massive turning point
Smart.
for me. Thank you. uh, yeah, it was absolutely a huge turning point. I had to invest a lot of money in myself. At the time, this is about maybe 18 years ago or so, it was $12,000, which I didn't have, of course, but I just plunked it down on my credit card because I trusted this guy. And the reason I trusted him was he kept talking about the subconscious.
Hmm.
And by this time, I'd done my hypnotherapy training, and I realized the power that subconscious, about 95% of us, and the conscious mind, just the 5 or 10%. And he said, it doesn't matter if you have an MBA from Harvard. If you have issues in your subconscious around money, you will never be successful.
So
And I
true.
and I was thrilled when I heard that, which is why I signed out with him, because I thought, oh, he gets it. He gets it about the subconscious. And well, I just never, once I signed up with him, I think the crucial thing too was the actual signing up, because I've completely freaked out after I signed up. Like, oh my God, what am I
Yes.
doing? $12,000 that I don't even have. But, excuse me, it was the best thing I ever did in terms of my business and also my personal life, because it wasn't just about money, it was about love and health and fitness and enjoying my life and having plenty. I learned that word plenty instead of not enough. Um, just having plenty of whatever it was I wanted. And I learned some very powerful things for my business, um, to how to manage it and set up all my programs and my products, and have a funnel. And I just started making a fortune once I understood how to manage my business. And also, because I actually elevated myself up to that level by signing up, because he wasn't the kind of person you could ask to do a trade or anything like that.
Right. Right.
Uh, that was the price, and you paid it or you didn't. And I actually bought his deluxe package. And I remember when he was on the stage, and I think he had 3 packages, and the deluxe package had everything in it. And the other 2 packages, of course, were cheaper, but they had less in. And I was sitting there and I remembered the way I was raised, you couldn't have everything. When I
Mm.
was a little girl, I wanted to
Yeah.
be a ballet dancer for the Royal Ballet because I loved ballet.
Hmm.
But my mother said you can only have one dance class a week. And you don't want to be in the Royal Ballet because that's not a good career for you.
Oh.
And then I remembered that when I was sitting there listening to him, and I thought, I'm getting the deluxe package. I'm getting everything.
There you go. Good for you. And I
No,
think that that is such an intelligent move, and I think that is such something that people, I mean, just if you listen to one thing, and we still have the whole interview to go, but if you listen to one thing, what Pragito said is find somebody who is already successful doing what it is that you want to
Yes,
do and learn from them, model
right.
them, ask them. And there's somebody out there who has already had the success that you want. They know how to do it. There's probably
Yep.
nothing that you want to ever do in your life that somebody else hasn't already done, and you can trust them because they know how to do it. They know what they're talking about. So bravo. And it takes courage,
Oh, yeah, it
especially
does.
coming from the money mindset that you were in of not
Yes.
having plenty, to whip out $12,000 that you don't have, and put your trust and faith in. It's not even just putting your trust and faith in that person, but it's also putting your trust and faith in yourself, because
Oh,
you're the one
exactly.
making that decision.
Exactly. I made the decision, and I realized that later when I started working with clients on this. I said it's your decision. Therefore, you get the massive reward, you know,
Yeah.
and that's what catapults us. And I've noticed now in my own business that people sign up, especially for the big packages, it already they make a leap just by signing up, as I
Yeah.
did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest rewards are out there for people who take the biggest risks.
Yes, yes, they are. They are. And I had a lot of fear come up. As I say, I completely freaked out. I told two people, one of them was my son, and then they freaked out because I knew I never had any money. Like, what are you doing? So I decided not to tell anybody else. I
Yeah.
just kept it to myself. And you know what happened? What was so incredible? Well, you might not be surprised, but by the time the credit card statement came, the due date
Hmm.
that $12,000 was on, I had all the money to pay it off. So
That
within
is incredible. And I
within
do
about
believe that. I do believe that. I had a very similar thing happen to me last year when I decided to go on tour. This was before coronavirus, of course, so it's almost like a year and a half ago when I decided to plunk down my credit card and book all the hotels and all my flights and all of my event rooms to like make this happen. And like literally within weeks, all the money came back to me from
yep,
completely unknown sources that
yep,
I wasn't
that's correct.
expecting.
Yes, yes, yes. And the incredible thing was that because this multimillionaire talked so much about the subconscious, I just got so many clients because they knew with the hypnotherapy I could help them at that deeper level and not just up here the conscious mind, which can't really transform those deep rooted beliefs.
Yeah. I love that we share this very similar understanding with law of attraction, subconscious mind. So can you talk to us a little bit about how your techniques help us to attract more of what we want in our lives?
Yes, absolutely. So the first thing is that the part of us that does the attracting is the feeling state. And yes, we want to have positive thoughts in the mind, but that most of the time, that's not enough. We have to be aware of our feeling state. And this is where the meditation comes in, because meditation is awareness. And so the first thing you have to do is bring awareness to your emotional state, to your vibration that you're sending out, and realize that if you're in fear a lot of the time, that's what you're attracting. But if you can be in a state of love or joy, happiness, then that's what you'll bring back. So I usually tell people, think about it on a scale of 1 to 10, one being a very low vibe and 10 being a very high vibe. And so what your job is, because the universe has its part, of course, but your job is to keep yourself up at an 8, 9, 10
Mm-hmm.
vibe. and start being aware of that. So for example, if you have a phone call with somebody and you put the phone down, you suddenly feel really down, then you have to think, okay, is that a good person for me? Why do I
Mm-hmm.
feel so down, when I felt great before I talked to them? And all these little things in life that can bring us down, then when you have the awareness, you can bring yourself back up. And I have many meditation techniques. By the way, my book, and they're all in my book, Lunchtime Enlightenment, this is about meditation and expressive meditation. And one of my favorite techniques for law of attraction is the laughter meditation.
Ooh.
Because laughter raises your vibration pretty much up to a 10. And when you learn the laughter meditation, which is very simple, and in fact, a rule of thumb I give everybody is laugh every day.
That's
Just
such a great, it's so true, and it's such a simple thing. So one of the things I love to do on my show is bring people on who are going to teach us techniques. And so is it possible that we could get a little preview of this laughter meditation on how we can do that?
absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's very simple. The first stage is you just laugh. Nobody needs to be telling jokes or be a stand-up comedian. You just start laughing. And the
Okay.
second stage, you sit in silence. So you take the energy of the laughter within. And you can do this for a minute of each, or 5 minutes of each, or 10 minutes of each. I do this in my trainings. In fact, I have a special training just for the laughter meditation because it is so incredibly powerful. And so, if you would like to join me in
Sure.
laughing, okay. So,
Absolutely.
so we'll just start laughing.
An
Often,
audience, I encourage you to join in at the
yeah,
same time. If you're
please.
watching or listening to this, go ahead and get yourself ready for this next process here.
Okay, so one way, and there's many ways to start yourself laughing, is put your arms up in the air and shout out Yahoo!
Okay, I'm gonna do
So we'll do,
it. Should we
yeah,
do it?
we'll do that 3 times, and then we'll
Okay.
burst out laughing, and then we will bring the energy of the laughter into silence. And I'll
Okay.
indicate to you when we do that. Okay.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right, here we go. Yahoo!
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 All right, very good.
Mm. Oh, I love it. I love that is an amazing meditation because A, it's just so simple. I think laughter definitely induces like sort of a little bit of a hypnotic state in and of itself. And then when you get quiet, you I could still hear the echo of
Yes,
myself laughing, and I could
yes.
still feel the buzz of
Yeah,
the
the
laughter.
vibration is here in the chest, in the, yeah, torso, absolutely.
And is it true? I mean, it seems like, obviously not everybody is gonna be, feeling like I'm ready to laugh right now. Maybe they're feeling kind of upset or mad or frustrated or disappointed or some of those feelings. But I mean, is it true that, I mean, there's if you just force yourself to laugh, you'll just sort of catch on.
Yep, you can do that. You could just start with ha, 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 and sooner or later you're going to burst out into real laughter. And the other thing is the consistency. That's why I suggest it every day, because what you're doing is you're exercising your laughter muscles when you laugh a little bit every day for longer or shorter time. And then you can do the laughter meditation, like you could do 30 minutes of laughter and 30 minutes of silence, um, because you get used to laughing that much.
30 minutes.
So,
Now that seems overwhelming. Okay, so you have to kind of build up to that, or
yeah, you build up to it. Although I've done 3 hours of laughter.
really 3 hours of nonstop laughter.
Yes, yes.
That makes me laugh just thinking about laughing for three
Yeah,
hours.
yeah, it's incredible. And so, where that comes from is a 3-week meditation called the Mystic Rose, that created by Osho. I don't know if you've heard of Osho.
I have.
Okay, good. So, the first week is 3 hours a day of laughter. The second week is 3 hours a day of tears or crying. And the third week is 3 hours a day of Watcher on the Hills, which is sitting in silence, witnessing the mind.
Oh,
It's a 21-day process, and I've done it quite a number of times. And I've also trained to lead it. And it is unbelievable what happens to you in that 3 weeks. And when you come out the other end, it's
do you do this?
extraordinary.
Is this self-directed, or do you go someplace to do it?
Well, you can
I mean,
do, yes, you can do it yourself, although I don't know, 3 hours a day. It's in my book. So if anybody wants to do it, but I would start, if you want to do the 21 days, I would do 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, because to do 3 hours a day on your own, I don't know, that's quite a lot. But you could do 5 or 10 minutes a day on your own. Or from time to time, I don't do the 3 week, but I do a 3 day version of it, the laughter and
mhm.
tears. So we have one day for laughter, one day for tears, and one day for sitting in silence. And then
That sounds amazing. That
yeah,
really
it
does.
is. It's extraordinary. Yeah.
So, so this is all done ultimately in an effort to raise our vibration and
Yes,
to.
absolutely, to raise our vibration. But laughter is a phenomenal thing, because I went into it quite a lot because I was writing about it in my books, and it has so many layers and dimensions of benefits. First of all, for the body, because laughter releases stress from the physical body, and so that has to be a good thing for us. And then for our relationships, for the heart, see, laughter opens the heart. You can't
Mhm.
hate someone you're laughing with. And so laughter enhances all of our relationships. It opens the heart. And we always feel good about somebody we're laughing with. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then for the mind, see, you can't be worried and laughing at the same time. So the laughing will win over worry, because it's a more powerful energy. Because the truth is that thoughts of worry are not even real, they're shadows in the mind. So the laughter will always win. And so laughter helps erase fear, it helps erase worry, it helps erase anxiety, so that, because it literally just erases it, because you can't be anxious and laughing, you just can't. And so the more you bring laughter into your life, and this has happened to me, the more the fear and the worry and all of that, it starts receding, it starts disappearing, because it cannot be there in the face of so much positivity, which is what laughter is, of such a powerful energy. And laughter is actually a dimension of love, because the highest vibe for laughter is a 10, and that's where love is, up at a 10. So laughter helps us be more loving. And then on the spiritual level, laughter helps us drop deeper down inside, more quickly. Because when you keep doing that laughter meditation, or maybe you already noticed it today, that you drop down quicker to your inner peace and your inner joy after some laughter
Mm-hmm.
than if you would just try and sit there cold, trying to meditate. So,
Yeah, I love that. It sort of validates an idea because I've had this idea myself where, I've gone out for a run, or a hike or a fast walk, and then I've come in and I've just immediately gone into meditation.
yes, yes,
And I've actually thought of that like as a possible technique.
it
Um,
is. It is.
yeah, there's something about like raising the vibration because all
Yeah.
of
And
that. Mm-hmm.
using the body to, because when you are in the body, jogging, running, or something, you come down out of your head more.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's easier to drop down into meditation. I have jogging and running meditations in my book.
Oh, you do? Okay. This
Yes,
is
I
a
do.
fascinating book. I've got to get myself a copy of this. This is
Yes,
wonderful.
because the first thing is to understand what meditation is and what it is not. Meditation is not a technique. Sitting like this, chanting mantras, that is one technique, but just one technique. But
Mm-hmm.
actually, what is meditation? Meditation is a quality that you bring to any activity.
Ooh,
It's
I love that. It's a quality that you bring to any activity.
yes,
So
and
what we
it's a
think of when we just quiet the mind, we sit there silently trying to, get rid of all those thoughts, which is impossible to do, but that is just one of the
many
zillion techniques.
techniques. Yes, because really the essence of meditation is being fully present.
Hmm.
And you can be fully present anywhere. I mean, you can be fully present sitting like this, but you can be fully like right now. You and I are
Technically,
fully
we're
present.
meditating.
Yes, we are. We are because we're both fully present. And meditation is awareness. Awareness of the state you're in. And there's only two states. It's either unconsciousness or consciousness. Either you're awake or you're asleep. And so when you understand that that's what meditation is, that it's not doesn't have to be any one particular activity, it can be any activity. So then you can be meditating many times of the day when you're shopping, when you're cooking. The
Hmm.
only thing is, are you fully present? Because if
Right.
you are, that's meditation. If you're not, if you're off in the future or the past, that is not meditation. That's the mind interfering and taking you off somewhere else.
I love it. This is such a great way to explain it. It makes it so clear and so simple, and I really resonate with what you're saying. So getting so we understand a little bit more about how to raise our vibration. We understand a little bit more about what law of attraction is, and we understand a lot more about meditation, what it is and what it isn't. So I want to have you help us to explain what is the most important thing for somebody to remember when it comes to law of attraction. So many people, they have these things in their life they really, really want, and they're just hitting roadblocks. And so, why is that, and what's the most important thing for somebody to understand when it comes to that?
Well, I have a little simple three-step process.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, you got to keep your vibes up, as we've just been saying. So start laughing right now, and then you can listen to me saying the three-step process. So the first step is clarity. Be clear on what you want, because a lot of the time people don't get what they want, is they're not clear on what they want. They don't really know what they want. So be very clear on what it
Mm-hmm.
is. I want a new bicycle. I want a new car. I want a bigger house or a pony for my daughter, whatever it is. Just be clear about it.
Yeah.
And the more simple your request is, and the more clear, the more likely you are to get it. So the second step is then you have to let go. You've sent it out to the universe, you've made your request, you've asked, and then you have to let it go and make sure that you are doing vision board if you like vision boards, or you've told all your friends what it is you want so they can support you with their energy. Don't tell people who don't support you. Just tell people who really, really support you and love you. And maybe if you want a new car, you go to, say, for example, Alexa showroom, and you do a test drive and you imagine yourself with the car and drive. I've done this with a car. It was extraordinary. So you do your part by maintaining your request. You don't keep asking, but by doing these things like I've mentioned. And then step 3, and this is the most difficult step, and this is the step that where people often fall down and say, oh, it's not working, it doesn't work, I'm not doing this anymore. And the third step is receiving or allowing. And this is difficult for people because what we are taught in this society is to give, especially women. We are taught to give, give, give. I mean, for example, I never even heard the word receive. I had no idea. I had to really sit down and learn this about receiving. And see yourself as a container, like as a physical container. So you have to expand your chest and breathe and prepare to receive and allow. Now, here's where the mind can come in and start interfering, because the mind will come in and say, oh, well, this is never going to happen. Who do you think you are, wanting a Lexus car or writing a book? Or, this it's not, yeah, it happens for other people, but it's not going to happen for you. And all these kind of things the mind comes up with, because the mind is limited to past experiences. That's all it has to go on. And it goes into fear when we start stepping outside of our comfort zone into something we've never done before, because it's trying to protect us, because the mind wants to protect us. It doesn't want us to get hurt or disappointed.
Right.
And it wants us to stay in the same box we've always been in, like the box I was in. So it can protect us. And so this is where there's a fabulous meditation technique called witnessing the mind, created by the Buddha, and still very, very incredible to this day. But when you learn to disidentify from the mind, to get a distance from the mind, it doesn't mean you don't use your mind. What it means is you don't believe all the thoughts in your head.
Yes, that makes sense.
Because thoughts are shadows. They're not real. Like if you're walking down the street and you see your shadow, the shadow isn't real. And so the thoughts are not real. So it's learning that process to be able to step back from the mind, just let the thoughts go by. You don't fight them, you just let them pass by, and stay with what it is you want, because you're not talking to the mind, you're talking to the universe, you're talking to existence, to the divine. I want this car, for example. Yeah. And that will help you. And you can pray, that might help too. But that will help you with the allowing process. And if you hear the mind coming in with objections, you just let those thoughts go by. And you keep yourself open to receiving. Now comes another issue people have, is because like after 2 days, oh, well, it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Because because again, the mind wants everything like now,
Yeah,
like click on the
we're
computer.
impatient.
Yes, it's the mind actually that is impatient because it's dying to prove to us that it's not going to work. And so, yes, we have to have patience and trust because what we want might involve other people
Hmm.
being, like if you want more clients, well, clients have to be ready to work with you or to hear about you or see an ad you put on Facebook or whatever it is. Um, and maybe the car showroom needs to be having a sale or I mean
Hmm.
there's so many things going into it, and that's why we have to be patient and trust that what is meant for us will come to us.
I I like what you said there too. I always believed in that, anything, pretty much every single thing that we want to attract requires somebody else to
Yes,
to set that up in some way. The love of our life, it has to be there, has to be single, has to be available.
right,
The clients have to be there. The automobile makers have to put that car out on the showroom. There has to be a sale on it. The house has to come available for you to manifest your dream house. Somebody has to
yes,
make a decision that they're going to sell that house.
exactly. Yes, exactly. And something else I encourage people not to get too fixated on, and I'll tell you about a client of mine. So he wanted a car. I think it was a BMW he wanted. And he was, working on manifesting this car. And his father, I'm not quite sure how his father got this car, but his father wanted to give him a BMW.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, well, but that's not how I wanted to get the money from my business and buy it myself. I don't just want my father to hand it to me. And I said, look, the universe through your father represents the universe, is giving you a car. Can you receive it? Can you accept it without having all kinds of conditions like, oh, well, I wanted to buy it from my money from my business, or I wanted to whatever. And he did. He let that go. And then so he got his car. And so the lesson from that is don't decide for the universe how your Caribbean cruise or whatever it is going to come to you.
It's
Because
so true. You have to be flexible on
yes,
how it happens. You really, really
yes,
do.
yes, because we don't know anything, or at least our small minds don't know everything, but the universe does. The universe has the big picture. And I had a funny way, I had a kind of reversing happen for me. One of my clients, her sister gave her this huge, when those flat screen TVs came out,
Hmm.
she gave her this flat screen TV because she didn't want it for some reason, or she had two or something. And I remember thinking, wow, I was pretty sure my sister would, because my sister had the same issues I used to have with money. So, I thought, but you know what? I could buy myself a flat screen TV.
Hmm.
And that had never occurred to me before to start that yes, you expect presents from other people, but I could give presents to myself.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
that's
that
still
that's like
manifesting. It's
yes,
still manifesting according to the definition. The true definition of manifesting is, to me, is just to make uh, to turn a thought that you have ultimately into reality. And so the thought was you wanted a flat screen TV. It doesn't really matter how it got to you. It got to you. You
exactly.
manifested it.
Exactly. And so all of that, it's interesting how my clients sometimes help me shift through things. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that I have little things stuck in my subconscious, little beliefs and so on.
Yeah.
Um, but if something isn't working, um, I found there's three things that can get in the way. And one of them is unworthiness, feelings of
Mm-hmm.
unworthiness.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is doubt,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them is fear.
And let me guess, I bet you have a meditation to help people to overcome those things in your book.
Yes. So, I mean, pretty much all the meditations in my book are to help us become free
Yeah.
of the mind.
How many meditations are there in your book?
In my book, there's probably about 150.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is incredible. That
Yes.
is incredible. Well, I hope people will go run out and buy that book. That's incredible.
Thank you.
150 meditations. And like how long does it take a person to like how long are the meditations? Are they like 5,
Oh,
15, 20 minute? Like
some of them are an hour.
uh-huh.
They're like the dancing meditation, the gibberish meditation, the humming meditation. Those ones are an hour.
Mm-hmm.
The laughter you can do however you want, but I'll just show you very short one now that's for
Okay.
great positivity. And it's called Yes, Yes, Yes. And
Ooh.
all you have to do is say the word yes with your full energy, like this: Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. And
Yes. I love it. And
and
so
that's
you
it.
do that for how long?
Whenever you remember, whenever you want.
Yes.
There's no rules about it except you say yes with your full energy, because what you're doing is you're saying yes to life. You're
Mm-hmm.
saying yes to existence. And it's that the energy that goes with that is full of joy and positivity. And then you'll get that back somehow.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Well, this has just been a wealth of knowledge here, and I had a lot of other questions that I want to ask you, but I feel like, I feel like we're full.
Yeah.
I feel
Good for
like we
life.
got a really great understanding and arsenal of some things that we can think about. How to. I mean, this was really very well presented and really succinct and. Being clear, letting go, receiving or allowing are your 3 steps to manifesting what we want. What last question I was going to have on that note was action. Like when it comes to action, would you say that, I mean, is that part of, can you speak to that as far as, is that part of step 3, would you say, or
No,
how does that fit
no,
in?
see, there's no action in part three. Part
Mm-hmm.
three is non-action or
Mm-hmm.
non-doing.
Mm-hmm.
In the Zen tradition of meditation, they call it non-doing, which
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean you sit there all passive and pissed off, like, oh, this is never going to happen. It doesn't mean
Right, right.
it's just a waiting. I mean, you could possibly liken it to a pregnancy where you are in a state of waiting.
Okay.
Something very good is coming at the end of the 9 months. There's
Yep.
nothing to do. Well,
Mm-hmm.
take care of yourself, of course. It's just a positive state of waiting and
Yeah.
allowing and receiving, preparing to receive this beautiful gift you're going to get. And so yes, the action is in step one, getting clear on what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can do action in step two, like do a vision board, like we said, or go to a car showroom and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Look at brochures for cruises. But step three, actually, though, there's no action, and that's why it's difficult, because in this culture we live in, it's all about doing.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do next? And where's
Yeah.
your to-do list? And I have this rule of thumb 50-50, doing and non-doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's for
Yeah.
my business, for my whole life, because I don't want to run myself ragged. That's not what I'm about. I want to enjoy myself and enjoy my work, which I do. And so you must take time for non-doing, which could be a walk or sitting in your backyard looking at the sky or
Mm-hmm.
listening to music, but not driven by the mind.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I call that doing and being, having
Yeah.
time for being, because a law of attraction comes, it's aligned with who you are, not necessarily
Yes.
what you want.
Exactly. With your being. Yes.
So
Yes.
I like that. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, and there's some people that are just like human doings, just
Yeah.
do, and I'm just running myself ragged, but I'm not getting what I want. Or the opposite is true. They just be, but
Yeah.
maybe they're not listening to and they're not allowing themselves to enter that receiving mode.
Yes. So it's the balance that's needed. And I think throughout life, whether you're trying to manifest something or not, but um, I think the most successful way to manifest is to combine the two
Yeah.
and not have expectations, because again, expectations come from the mind and that can interfere with the receiving.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for this
Ah,
wonderful information. I want to give our listeners an opportunity to find out where they can find your book, which is Lunchtime Enlightenment Expressive Meditations for Manifesting Peace, Passion, and Prosperity. And it's a #1 bestseller on Amazon. So you can go there and grab a copy of that book. Also, your website is discovermeditation.com. And then people can also find you on your Facebook page, facebook.com/ Pragito Dove. And all this will be in the show notes. And so people will just be able to go to the show notes and click on these links that are there. Do you have any like just last calls to action for our audience to let them know what they should do next besides go to Amazon and grab a copy of your book? uh,
yes. Start laughing and enjoy yourself, because
yes.
when you're enjoying yourself, you're fully present. Why wouldn't you be? And that state of being, that feeling state, will help you with your attractions. Very simple. It's very easy to do.
Wonderful. So take a moment after today and continue your laughing meditation, and Brigitto's book can help you. Thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for listening to the Power of Your Mind podcast.
Thank you for having me, Victoria.